Other interesting business news, you have the Nissan GT-R order book officially closed, ending an era as they cease production of their iconic Godzilla vehicle. I'm sure they'll continue to make awesome vehicles like the Altima and the Versa. Obviously joking, the only thing Nissan 400 or the Nissan Z is still fun, but yeah, it's no GT-R. Now, this comes with thanks to Ronan Glone over at thedrive.com. And he says, quote, "It's over. Nissan closes the GT-R order book in Japan after 18 years. And he continues saying, quote, "Hybrid, electric, or nothing at all. What's next for the nameplate is still up in the air." Yeah, hopefully just, not electric or hybrid, Jesus. 18 years. And in terms of an ROI, like money-making perspective for Nissan, I can't help but think this is like the most best thing they've done in 10 years. Or no, sorry, 18 years. Because, no offense, Nissan, it's basically the same damn vehicle with slightly different body panels and slightly different curvatures. They may look a little bit different every couple of years. Nothing revolutionary, and all 18 years, you couldn't take the time and give the community the courtesy of coming out with 3 pedals, also known as a manual transmission. Every single year was an anemic, boring, automatic transmission, which, again, people still bought it in droves for a while. But yeah, it's, again, there's still a market out there for 3 pedals. Porsche is probably the best company in terms of proving that and continuing to make it to this day. And, well, perhaps Subaru and then Honda Civic. Believe it or not, Honda is the #1 manufacturer of stick-shift vehicles in the world by volume of units sold. Hashtag Civic SI. But the Nissan GT-R, it was so cool. You make so much horsepower. But I was always disappointed by the styling because, again, they really didn't do that many updates. And again, the third pedal or lack thereof. I know I'm a diehard enthusiast. I've talked about that in nauseum on the show. But yeah, it would have been so... I'm not saying double their sales, obviously. But I'm saying, what do you think? I say 10, 20% more sales of the GT-R if they were to include that option for folks. I mean, shoot, that was one of those iconic things about the original ones. Now, he says, quote, "Pour out another for the R35 generation Nissan GT-R Godzilla has finally retired after nearly a 20-year-long production run. Nissan posted a heartfelt message on its Japanese website to announce it has stopped taking orders for the coupe. The GT-R's future is a little murky." Now they say, quote, "We have received many orders for the Nissan GT-R and we now finish accepting orders from the planned production quantity. We would like to express our sincere gratitude to our many customers for their patronage over the years since its release in 2007, unquote. Again, that's from a Nissan representative. They say Japan was one of the last markets where enthusiasts could still buy the Nissan GT-R. Production for the American market had ended in October 2024, so the nameplate retired after the 2024 model year. Nissan axed the GT-R in Europe and in the UK in 2022 due to new, how lame is this, noise-related regulations. People wonder why I hate big government or many governments at all. The totalitarian evil of the European Union and all those countries over there. Yeah, it's too loud? Grow a pair. Jeez, how weak are those countries? Now, I know Nissan has about $18 left in their checking account, so it's not like they can go out and hire lobbyists or, get the enthusiasts to fight on their behalf. But geez Louise, noise-related regulations. That's how pathetic Europe has become. A conquered, weak continent and countries, or group of countries in the European Union. Now they say the R35 project was started in 2000 at the request of ex-Nissan CEO Carlos Ghosn, which is actually spelled Ghosn, and to his credit, that guy turned the company around and saved from bankruptcy. The first time. They've had a lot of rough years throughout their history. If you want to learn more about Nissan, the book, and like a little awkward to shift over here. If you want to learn about Nissan, check out Shift, which appropriately is named since they used to make a lot of good stick shift vehicles. It's Shift Inside Nissan's Historic Revival, CEO of Nissan, Carlos Ghosn, and Philip Reese. It also goes throughout here, a little biography about Carlos and fascinating tales going from tire manufacturers to saving automotive companies. And yeah, Carlos got a lot of critique for cost cutting. Kind of had to on the brink of bankruptcy with cost exceeding way too much. But I mean, he also revived the brand in terms of bringing back the 350Z. I mean, that really got a lot of people's attention. And it turns out, also credited to the GT-R. Now, my ADHD notwithstanding, going back to the article, it says, quote, "The coupe was previewed by a series of design studies, including a GT-R concept unveiled at the 2001 Tokyo Motor Show, and it's made its global debut at the 2007 edition of the event. Sales for the American market started for the 2009 model year. At launch, the GT-R touted a bang-for-your-buck proposition that rivals few could match. It carried the base price of, well, back in the day, $78,000 and offered a 3.8-liter twin turbocharged V6 rated at 480 horsepower and 430 foot-pound of torque. Now you can see, the interior is always very disappointing because you have that anemic, boring automatic transmission, rudimentary shift knob, or not really a shift knob, selector. Again, at least the outside looks pretty cool. Pretty angular. Leave that on the screen there for a New York minute there. Yeah, again, the outside looks pretty good. It said Brembo brake calipers kept the power in check, and the GT-R stood out with a cool-looking touchscreen-based infotainment system developed by, who the hell is this? Polyphony Digital, the team behind the Gran Turismo franchise. That's interesting. The R35 received rave reviews from fans and journalists. Fast forward to 2025, the GT-R looks much like it did when it broke the cover of the Japanese capital nearly 20 years ago. It changed a lot since then. Did it? Really? However, it received several visual updates during its production run, and the final iteration of the base model came close to the evolution of 3.6-liter V6 rated at 565 horsepower, 467 foot-pound of torque. That's not enough. The Nismo version posted figures of 600 and 481 respectively. The price has gone up as well. The last base price GT-R cost, which this is when it gets comical, and there's no way. This is where I think it lost all value prop. I believe it was so bad they were selling, I believe, one per day, which it was pretty rough production, or rather order rates towards the end of the lifespan. Now, the last base price, again, was $123,985, including destination, while the top ranking Nismo edition was $222,895, which, let's be honest, was only a little bit better for the track. A little bit better suspension, a couple extra pieces of plastic glued on. Don't get me wrong, great 3M adhesive tape, I'm sure, but $250,000 for Nissan GT-R after taxes and extortion fees? No, you're not getting that. I mean, most people are starting to look at Porsches. I mean, shoot, high-level Porsche. I mean, Porsche Turbo S is about 213, give or take, or 204, depending on, paint and configuration. But yeah, $250,000 for Nissan. No, the Nismo should have been, the base should have been, I think, about 80,000 is pushing it. Then top line make 130, 140. I think they would have sold a lot more units at those price points. They say there are currently 12 new GT-Rs on sales across the U.S. in Nissan dealer network, but most are base side blue, R34 Tribute, Skyline Trim Edition. They say, what's next? Your guess is as good as ours. What's certain is that there's no next generation GT-R waiting behind the scenes to take the torch from the R35. If there's a successor on the way, we'll need at least a little patience to see it. Nissan has previously hinted at the next GT-R will features some degree of electrification. Right. It alluded to a hybrid and electric options in 2022, though in 2024, executives said the drivetrain hasn't been finalized and refused to confirm the nameplate of going all electric. Ugh. The hybrid option sounds more credible for the time being. Ugh. And then they have some pictures for some concept vehicles of what it could, potentially look like, which I thought was angular before. Now it's comical to the point where you think it's a 2000 era PlayStation 2 rendering. Not that there's anything wrong with that. At the time, it's quite impressive. But, I mean, it looks like a kid just put this into Adobe or Microsoft Paint and just said, make this more angular. And they did, but not in a good way. And again, I don't know what kind of money. I mean, again, Nissan doesn't have a lot of money to do this. They're begging Honda to buy them out or, join forces. And Honda's like, okay, maybe we'll buy you. And Nissan's like, but we want equal saying. To which I'm sure the Honda CEO just laughed and goes, are you kidding me? You drove your company into the ground. Why would we allow you to have any say at all? I mean, your transmissions are so terrible, people are buying Ford instead because Ford is more reliable by comparison. I mean, the Nissan Altima, it does have BAE energy, which I find entertaining on the Facebook page. But, I mean, that CVT transmission destroyed the brand's reputation for decades. It's one of those things where people just do not trust the credibility of pretty much any Nissan vehicle, which great way to avoid that shitty, terrible transmission and get a more reliable Nissan. Get a Nissan Z with a good old stick shift. And I can't believe it's so sad to say this, it is now the only twin-turbo V6 stick shift on the market in North America. They can get with this, nothing else is left. And again, if the dealers weren't marking them up 10, 20, 30 grand, I think they'd sell a lot more units. Technically, they sold more Nissan Zs than the Supra last year, which I anecdotally definitely don't believe that. Granted, I'm within 50 miles of the Toyota North America headquarters. So a lot of employees get the discounts, and I see tons and tons of Supras on the streets. It's great. And I've seen one Nissan Z in the past like 3 years on the streets. I have driven past a dealership where I saw another one, but yeah, that's how it is. So it's sad to see an iconic like this go away. Again, I really wish for the enthusiast alone, they should have made it like with a stick shift. I know I drive that point home ad nauseum, I know. But for such a cool iconic vehicle, they could have maybe gotten a couple more years of lifespan out of it. And again, it's important to have Halo cards. It shows the best the company can do from engineering and production capability. I'm glad Nissan made this. I just wish they did a little bit more. While I know kind of asking for the best of both worlds might be improbable, and also keep the price point a little bit lower. So it's sad. And hopefully with a booming economy, maybe next couple of years, people buy more toys like these, high priced vehicles. But let me know, what do you think the next iteration of the GT-R might be? And if it goes full electric, I mean, then they're entering a whole new category to compete against. Do you think Nissan has the engineering, research, development, resource allocation, production, all the capabilities to actually succeed in that entirely new market? Let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Again, try to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, and a comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.